Hey guys, midweek energy update. We are in eclipse energy this week. Last night, the 17th, like through the 18th, we had our full moon in the sign of Pisces. It was also a lunar eclipse. It was also a super moon, like very highly charged emotional energy. Could have a lot of themes going on having to do with loss, endings, transition. And to be honest with you, we've got just a bit of kind of like a magnifier on the negative end of things as we move through the week this week. We got a couple like harsh oppositions going on between the Sun and Neptune and Mercury and Saturn. We also have a Moon-Mars square happening, and it's also a mutual reception. There could be some like internalized emotional conflict or like actual conflict happening specifically in the realms of maybe like home or family. And we also have this like ongoing grand trine in earth signs with Pluto, Uranus, and the Sun in Virgo. Very foundational change, profound like awakening that alters the course of the path that we're walking moving towards the future. This is like big changes that are also requiring an element of endings and beginnings to come into fruition at this point in time. So that energy also is kind of accentuating what we already have going on in the context of it being eclipse season. And not only that, like a Pisces eclipse, talked all about the eclipse full moon in the last video. So we're gonna pick back up where we left off, get back into this energy and see, how things might be working themselves out as we hit the midpoint of our week this week and head towards the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end. We're going to start, of course, at the beginning with the astrology. And yes, we are in an eclipse week this week. We are actually, last night was the eclipse. It happened, well, the full moon exactly was around 10:30. It was 10:35 Eastern time, which translated into 2:35 Universal time on the 18th. So really, depending where in the world you are, was the 17th or the 18th, but for us or me here, it was last night. So this is the energy that I'm talking about today that we are waking up into, and that is carrying us through Wednesday and Thursday as this full moon eclipse energy unfolds. And I do want to preface things and say, things could honestly seem a bit serious or like critical right now. Definitely, a more like crucial element to the way that things are probably coming off. There could be a level of like demoralization or discouragement going on, and there could also be some really like unusual stuff that is transpiring or playing out now as well. We are in a time of endings and transitions in like a very big way. The flip side of that, of course, is these new beginnings that are simultaneously emerging right now. But our viewpoint is likely to be skewed towards the negative, especially on Wednesday, but on Thursday as well. So if we can just keep that in mind, that things are not, and there's a lot of illusions. We're honestly likely to be operating under like a level of like illusion or delusion that is making things look worse than they are, or our judgment or our clarity is like clouded somehow in a way that is just like magnifying the negative end of things and like what the sacrifice is, and like the upside of things right now is very, very out of focus. Okay, so there's like an amplification of like the cons of situations and a very diminished ability for us to see the pros of like certain situations, endings and beginnings are going on right now. So if we go through this next couple of days with just that conscious awareness that we're likely to be feeling worse about things, or things are likely to be looking worse than they actually turn out to be, it may help us in what we really need to be doing in this energy, which is doing our very best to like trust the processes that are unfolding, to surrender that which is out of our control, essentially, and to just have faith that the universe is conspiring in our favor. And even if everything on the like appearance level right now may be indicating otherwise, there's a very strong magic in the times that we are in right now as well. And a major lesson actually, like on, you know, if we're gonna get serious for a minute, a major lesson of what we're going through right now in the context of like how things are playing out and just the point of time that we're at generally, we need to learn how powerful our mind is truly when we align it with our faith and our belief in positive outcomes for ourselves. Like, we're supposed to be in this whole period of time, this next 20 years is really going to be like a manifestation boot camp, I think, for the greater collective of humanity, as we start to realize both negative and positive when we are, you know, focusing our mind in certain ways on certain things, how much of a real tangible impact it does have on creating the circumstances and situations that we experience in our reality. And you know, that being said, the outlet, like the escape, of course, from, and it always is, but from just the heaviness and the like more negatively skewed impact of the way the energy is coming together right now, is the ability to, you know, surrender to whatever's essentially going on, and to have faith in like trust in divine timing, and literally like have faith and believe that the universe is conspiring in your favor, and that everything that is meant for you will find you. You know, Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, like all of the great spiritual teachers actually of like the 1920s, like go back 100 years and listen to what people were saying then, as the first little inclinations of the Aquarian energy were just, the age of Aquarius energy were just starting to come in and be explored through, you know, the channels for that energy back then. Still very, very relevant right now. So with all this Piscean energy, we're going to talk about a lot of astrology, a lot of kind of difficult astrology that we have going on, but we're in a Pisces full moon cycle. There's Pisces planets that are kind of causing the issues. Pisces is the sign of, you know, higher power and the spirit world. It also indicates loss and, you know, erosion and things fading away and endings. Faith in a higher power, faith in the positive outcomes and the positive trajectory associated with what is to come next is where we should be doing our very best to try to gear our consciousness, okay, as we move through this week towards the weekend. So that being said, you know, we've got two difficult oppositions going on. We have Mercury exactly opposite Saturn today. That is kind of a downer. And then we've got the Sun also in an opposition to Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are two totally different energies. The Sun opposite Neptune, this is like likely to be lowering our spirits, you know what I mean? Like lowering vitality levels, maybe making us just feel sort of like out of it, a little bit like in a fog, maybe not very much energy, kind of. It's a very good day to sleep late or like take an extended nap, or kind of just like disconnect from reality in a healthy way, maybe like read a good book or something. That is another good way to deal with this energy. And also any way that we can be spiritually inspired throughout the day instead of like spiritually demoralized, that is also going to be working in our benefit, as I just said. So we've got that going on. We also, just to turn it up a little bit, have a square happening between the moon, obviously with the North Node in the sign of Aries, because we just had an eclipse, which is a full moon in a conjunction to the nodes of the moon. It was out of sign conjunction, the full moon in Pisces, the North Node in Aries. But today we have the North Node reaching, or the North Node and the moon coming together. And remember, you guys, we recently had Mars enter the sign of Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Aries is ruled by Mars. So for the next couple of days and for once a month, while we have the moon transiting Aries, or while we have Mars transiting Cancer, we will have Mars moon mutual reception whenever the moon is transiting through Aries or Scorpio, because those signs are both ruled by Mars. So, especially while the moon is in Aries with the North Node also making a square to Mars right now, because if you remember, if you watched my full moon video, I was talking about how one of the aspects playing out with that full moon was a real tight square happening between Mars and the nodes of the moon, which was also letting us know with the moon in the sign of, or Mars in the sign of Cancer, ruled by the moon and all that full moon activity going on, that like conflicts that were coming up, or there could be like anger issues, like the actions that were happening, like the events that were occurring, like what people are actually doing, very much somehow related to whatever is going on with that moon, whatever's going on with that eclipse, whatever endings or, you know, loss or just emotional situations that may have been bringing into our lives. There was definitely a very active, like fiery situation that could have been occurring alongside of that. Breakthroughs though, and things like finally happening in the way they need to release us from one thing and move us towards something else, which is really just the whole story right now. So but we do have that square very active on Wednesday, Moon square Mars. This can also or always bring like just kind of like an internal irritation, internalized conflict going on, like anger that we just like feeling and we can't really put our finger on a reason why. Also, it could be bringing up actual conflict or fighting within things to do with Cancer themes, you know, home, family, things to do with the mother, community, even like attacks on the homeland and stuff like that. There could be just kind of a lot of like contentious behavior going on within groups or communities or within families and stuff like that. So that could also be something that is playing into whatever's going on in this eclipse energy right now. And also, we do have this grand earth trine that we need to talk about too. That is also like very foundationally transformative, endings and beginnings, like powerful awakenings that like represent like the death of something on one hand and the rebirth of something on the other hand. You know what I mean? It could be some really deep insight into something that we're gaining that has a very powerful and transformative impact somehow. And we are on Thursday looking at the exact trine happening between the sun and Uranus. So sudden breakdowns, endings, transitions, foundational shifts. Like this is playing right into these very same themes being represented by the full moon eclipse that we're also dealing with right now, shaking things up, making things happen differently than they usually do also. Like there could be, you know, sun trine Uranus. This does lend a like level of excitability to things, like a need to be free, like an urge for freedom, an urge to like change things up and to just like feel like we're not stuck in some like repeating pattern of like constant mundane, like same thing after same thing after same thing. Like there's definitely, when we have a sun trine Uranus or any, you know, planet aspecting Uranus, it usually causes kind of like an internalized, especially with Uranus retrograde right now, need to just like experience something different, shake things up a little bit. So that's likely to be organically happening. People could also really be seeking that out in this energy that is about like endings right now. People could be like not necessarily showing up when and where they said they would and fulfilling the duties or responsibilities or obligations they had previously signed up for. There could also definitely be like a lack of accountability or a lack of like authority, or things just generally not making sense. We have a Sun Neptune opposition. We have a Mercury Saturn opposition. Mercury's ruling the position of the sun. This is Virgo Pisces energy. But we also have that grand trine going on in earth signs as well with the sun. The sun is both in the opposition to Neptune, but also in a trine to both Uranus and Pluto. There are illusions, you guys, that are being destroyed with this. As much as it might be confusing us and messing with our mind and having a lot of people just like wanting to escape reality, like not wanting to deal with whatever's going on right now. And it could, like, this could bring up, honestly, like crisis points for a lot of people. There could be health stuff going on. There could be financial stuff going on. There could be things going on, again, having to do with like home and family and stuff like that. And we'll talk more about it as we get through this report. But that grand trine, like that really is like busting through that illusion that Neptunian energy may have been holding us in, and as a result like shifting the paradigm, or again like changing a bit of our like operating program that is having to do with literally how we are interfacing with our reality and how our mind is working, what we're thinking, how we're viewing and perceiving things. Like that is another aspect, as I said, that is really kind of mirroring the eclipse energy itself in terms of the foundationally transformative impact of things. This energy is opening our mind in some way, like deep penetrating insight and awareness gained into various things, and it is putting us like ultimately where we need to be, removing blockages to authentic growth as like a primary purpose going on here. You know, with Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn being the third point in that trine, this awakening or this shift or this transition that we're moving through right now is redefining our relationship to power in all of its forms. Our own power, the ways that we interact and use power in our world, and power dynamics with other people and authority, and the way that we govern and structure our lives generally. Also, there could be some very, very deep, powerful conversations or interactions, meetings that are presenting with this, very revealing, very informative, very insightful in a way, again, that is likely to be extremely transformative on some very deep levels. You know, as I mentioned in my eclipse video from the other day, this is another activation. We've had several of them this year. Our first round of eclipses this year was super powerful. We've had, you know, a lot of different hits of energy here and there throughout 2024, some so far, that have been very, very powerful along these same lines and same regards. But this is literally like end of an era type of stuff going on. Okay, so when I'm talking about these endings right now, I'm literally talking about, you know, situations that have defined us, or that we have defined ourselves by, the relationships, the images, the people, the material structures, the jobs, the foundations, like the way that we have made our imprint on reality, you know, for maybe our whole lives, but specifically at this period of time since 2006, 2008 time periods, is kind of being like wiped clean on an emotional level, and we're being given the opportunity to like shed that skin and step into a new version of ourselves, like where we're taking with us the wisdom that we've gained from what we've overcome and what those experiences have turned us into, but like none of the baggage that was weighing us down emotionally and keeping us attached to and trapped in like these karmic cycles that were preventing us from being able to go through the fated process of personal growth that is being cosmically mandated right now. And that's why like it's so harsh, and there's so many things being pulled away. And you know, again, like a lot of people are probably going through like crisis points right now, but that's why I'm saying also, like, we have to realize at the end of the day what this is about, what we're supposed to be learning here, and we're learning how to interface actually with the new reality that's coming in through our ability to maintain control over our mind and our perception and our thoughts. Saturn and Pisces retrograding, you know, through our ability to hold our faith even when our faith is being tested, and to believe, to choose to believe that the universe, as I have said and I will continue to say, is conspiring in our favor, whether or not we see it apparently right in front of us right now. With this Uranian energy going on, Uranus is a galactic fixer. Uranus brings blessings in disguise. Uranus is a silver lining planet. Uranus rules the age of Aquarius. Uranus is all about the future, and it's all about making the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves, to unblock passages and pathways to authentic, like universal cosmic growth that is like being destined or divinely activated at like any period of time. Uranian energy works to facilitate some like higher plan to come into fruition. So anywhere that we have gotten off course, anywhere we have attached ourselves to anything, you know, literal things, people, mindsets, even like traumas that we've been through and the emotions associated with them that are pulling us off of our path or keeping us in a place where we cannot embrace like the new mental frame and energy that's coming in right now. That is what why we're having to go through like certain things right now in order to learn to shift. Okay. And as we move through this energy, like I said, it could be just bringing up, putting us face to face, I guess, with the struggle to trust the plan in the context of like feeling like everything is maybe kind of like a mess right now. But that is a higher lesson that we've just gotta accept and deal with. So it's just where we're at in our journey through time and space right now. Some might call it a hero's journey. That's what I would call it on Thursday. We will have the moon actually coming into a conjunction with Chiron in the sign of Aries. Could be bringing up some of these themes, you know, wounding, healing, teaching, personal alchemization, personal transmutation, overcoming states of victimhood, transmuting our pain into wisdom, you know, lower dimensional nature to that of self-mastery. This is the direction that we're going. And Wednesday and Thursday this week, it might be very evident to us, okay? Mercury opposite Saturn, Sun opposite Neptune, also Mars and Moon square. We could feel under attack, we could feel confused, we could feel isolated, cut off. Again, like really not knowing what's going on. It is a horrible day for any type of like deal or negotiation, agreement, commitment. Like you don't want to sign on the dotted line on this day if you don't have to. Try not to worry too much about stuff though. Just realize, I mean, Saturn represses and restricts and limits and controls things in an opposition with Mercury, the mind. This is mental energy that is kind of like depressed or deflated, right? And then Neptunian energy, Piscean energy, like washes things away and it erodes things and it dissipates things and it breaks them down. And then we're talking about the sun, which is like, oh, you know, our general vitality and like our spirits and like how we're feeling, you know, our mood, okay? And so we could kind of just, again, feel tired, out of it, depressed, angry, just kind of like very like irritated or dealing with some internal or emotional struggles going on, and everything is just primed to be a bit more serious right now, or seem more serious than it actually is. As I keep saying, we don't want to attach ourselves to that, okay? The best use of this day is to definitely immerse yourself in something spiritually inspiring if you can. It will go well, you will feel good about it, and it will definitely help to uplift your spirits and keep your energy sort of engaged in the right way. Again, the more that we can surrender control and lean into our faith in divine timing during this time, and that everything is truly working for our highest good right now, believe that universe is working for us and not against us, even if it doesn't seem that way. Like this is definitely going to help. This also is, you know, the classic "this too shall pass" energy. Was that saying was made for days and weeks like this one. So just, we're gonna hang in there, we're gonna hang on, we're gonna be all right. If you can just rest or like spend the day sleeping or getting lost in like a good book or something like that, if you're a writer, tap into that. If you are the type of person that is a creative, you know, if like fantasy or any like just kind of like immersing yourself in a world of fantasy and stuff like that, like if that's your thing for some reason, this actually might be a very good creative day and energy and period of time for you. But if not, you know, we should try to have patience and compassion with ourselves and others. I would set the bar just kind of low. Don't, you know, feel like you need to push yourself too hard at like the gym and stuff like that. Also, people are much more susceptible actually to like getting sick. Immune systems are lower, and that again may also be a thing that people are dealing with right now as we're moving through this energy. So if you can rest or just spend some extra time not doing too much, and especially trying not to worry or stress out, that's gonna work in our benefit. There could be a lot of hurt feelings that are going on today also with the Mars Moon situation. Mars and Moon can always indicate a greater likelihood or tendency for emotional conflict and like emotional wounds or hurt feelings. It can also just kind of make us like kind of hostile or kind of like defensive or combative about stuff, unsettled, and just, as I, you know, said, irritated internally. So angry emotional outbursts are kind of more likely than normal in this energy. Also, the whole Cancer themes, right? Home, family, community, mother, the creative process, fertility, and stuff like that as well. Lots of people are just generally like not even gonna know why they're mad and be coming off, you know, maybe a little bit crazy or just like really irrational in their emotional reactions and responses to things, but it's because of this Mars Moon situation. So if you're wondering, that's why. Also, with a strong Neptunian, Piscean situation going on, and also Saturn retrograde there, issues with drug and alcohol abuse could be a thing right now. So if you know people that have issues with that type of thing, you might want to keep a closer eye on that. With the Sun opposite Neptune and Mercury ruling the Sun in opposition to Saturn, as I said, it's impacting physical energy and vitality, immune systems, and debilitating mental health. So there could be a lot of like mental health issues or crises that are going on right now as well. This is also, you know, leaning into some kind of big time escapism energy, as I was saying earlier, like not showing up, not wanting to participate, not wanting to be there, not wanting to, you know, especially like follow the rules or just like get in line and stuff like that as well. A lot of people with that grand trine in Earth with Pluto and Uranus are also going to be like rebelling and resisting and sort of going their own way, like breaking from convention and tradition and all of that type of stuff for sure. Running from their problems, running from responsibility, even maybe like running from reality at this time. Suicide watch, you guys. I would maybe like just put a little bit of keep a little extra eye open for that type of stuff as we move through this week. This, again, like people that are already struggling mentally and that have like a lot of issues going on may really find themselves at a place as we move through this energy, just feeling like no way out, like no other option, like no will to continue to go on and stuff like that. So, you know, and it is, as I keep saying, like this is very difficult energy, especially if you're not aware of what's going on, or that there even is, you know, astrology that could be impacting the way that you're feeling and perceiving. Like a lot of people live and they don't even have an awareness that there are subtle invisible forces like impacting the way that they're viewing and perceiving things on a day-to-day basis. And so if you put yourself in that position and then think about like the weight of the world and everything that's going on right now, you know, you can see how that could be like a thing that is kind of coming up. So anyways, I'm just letting you guys know out there so that maybe we can have a little bit of a positive ripple out there in the world. But this energy could produce an uptick in people just like wanting to quit a lot of things, perhaps including life. And it really is annoying, like the double oppositions between Saturn and Mercury ruling the position of the Sun right now, and the Sun, you know, also in Virgo, in the opposition to Neptune. Saturn and Neptune, they're very polarized energies. They're very, you know, they're very, very different, but they both in their own way like depress and repress things, especially in the context of harsh aspects, especially when they're both in the same sign and we're talking about, you know, planets such as the Sun and Mercury, like the life force and the mentality, and they're also in the same sign, you know what I mean? So, and then when we talk about Virgo Pisces generally in that oppositional axis, like when the planets are skewed there, like things are not making sense. Like Virgo is the rational mind, like logical linear thoughts, okay? And it's ruled by Mercury, right? And then Pisces is like the intangible and the fantastical and the illusionary and like essentially like all that is not like clear and linear and logical and straightforward. And so we're already dealing with the, you know, skew between fact and fantasy, you know what I mean? Like reality and illusion and, you know, what's real and what's not when we've got harsh aspects or oppositional aspects going on between Pisces and Virgo. And we're also talking about both of the rulers in those signs, Neptune, Pisces, Mercury in Virgo, and the Sun and Saturn. So it is, and then that Mars square and the mutual reception and being in the eclipse energy. Like I'm just telling you guys, you know, there have been easier days, there have been easier times. However, it's like, what's that saying? Like, hard times make strong men, you know what I mean? Or something along those lines. Like, what I'm trying to say is that the times that we're going through now and what we're persevering through now is making us who we need to become to actually release ourselves from having to go through some of these same experiences moving forward into the future. So ultimately, again, it's going to be for the best. There is We have to remember the magic, okay? We have to remember the invisible world, the hand of God, okay? Divine intervention. Miraculous things can happen when we place our faith in the divine, when we surrender the burden, when we know, you know, I am in the hands of God and I know therefore I am protected and being looked after and everything is being arranged for me. Okay, and I don't need to worry about it. I just need to know that there is no loss in divine mind. Everything that is meant for you will come. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. Universe is supporting you and working in your favor, and we need to believe that as we move through whatever we move through at this point of time, which really is just a part of our transition from the past version of ourselves into who we are becoming, as universe essentially sets us up for success moving through that process of growth that is indicated to really becoming next. So we want to try not to jump to conclusions about things, make assumptions about things, make judgments about things. Nothing truly is as it seems. The sacrifice and the downside is being magnified and amplified right now. There is an upside. There are pros. There are benefits. There is a silver lining that is out of focus or just not in focus at all right now, and we need to remember that. Be easy with yourself and others this week. With Mars in the sign of Cancer, actively engaging in self-care or nurturing ourselves and our family somehow is also a good way to use this energy. And, you know, although, you know, we need to keep in mind, although we did have some very nice Jupiterian energy and a beautiful grand air trine come in this past weekend, a lot of people just have been going through it specifically over the course of, I'd say, the past month or so, and this full moon eclipse and all these simultaneous aspects that were associated with it, and now all of these like oppositions and squares and everything right now. It's just making things difficult for people, and it's not easy, right? But it will be worth it in the end. Yes, it will be worth it, but it's just comforting in the moment. No, it's not. So that's basically what I have to say, you guys, about our energy as we hit the midpoint of our week coming out of our full moon eclipse yesterday. I want to talk for just a second about the Sabian symbol placement where Venus actually is right now, 25 degrees of Libra, just because I feel like this symbol, like if you're looking for sort of summation in a symbolic form of what this energy feels like, I feel like this is a really good one. 25 degrees of Libra is the sight of an autumn leaf brings to the pilgrim the sudden revelation of the mysteries of life and death. Like, that's what I would call it. That's where I would say that we're at, especially in the context of this grand trine that we've got going on in earth signs. Especially now that I just said that, I feel like I started the thought earlier where I was saying whenever we have big aspects happening in earth signs, we are likely to see things like tangibly manifest in our actual world. So if I started saying that earlier and then got on a tangent and didn't finish that thought, I meant to say that and it just popped back into my head right now. So interjection, that was supposed to be like a while ago in this report, but there it is. Anyways, I feel like that particular symbol is very, very well describing what this grand earth trine is doing with Pluto, Uranus, and the sun, and also what this full moon eclipse cycle itself right now is doing as we are ending these cycles and preparing to start something essentially brand new. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot cards for a minute. This is also talking about perhaps a bit of a upset that is leading to new beginnings. We had the Four of Wands in reverse come out, followed by the Seven of Wands. There could be something that is destabilizing us, you guys. The Four of Wands, this is like when we are stabilizing our foundation, like when we are, I mean, it's a card of celebration. Yeah, like these people are obviously, it's representing a marriage celebration, but the four, this is like a very stable structure. This is like a strong foundation, okay? We're like building a strong foundation and celebrating about it. But with it in reverse, you know, this could obviously be indicating a lack of stability, like things that have been solid seemingly becoming shaky. And then with this Seven of Wands coming right after that, it's like we might honestly feel under attack by something, or like we're being bombarded by something, or like we're being pressured by something to do something. Like this guy, he's like slightly being like walled in, you know, like there's pressure coming at him from all these different directions, and he's standing there like trying to resist the best that he can, like everything that is coming at him. But there could, like, this is just indicating, you know, there could be some type of destabilization, or we could feel bombarded, or like things are just coming from every direction that are shaking up our foundations or our comfort zone, or disrupting our sense of security. That's also that Cancerian energy, right? That's the security, that's the comfort, that's feeling safe. And so there just could be something that is making us feel a bit unstable or shaky. But interestingly enough, look what we had come right after that, the Fool. So new beginnings, yeah, like there maybe this could also be, the Four of Wands could also be like commitments and investments and things that, you know, we've been attached to, or that we've been defined by, or that have just been like features of our life that have helped to stabilize our reality in some way for a period of time. But after, it's like, you know, after that, or as a component of that somehow, or in the process of whatever is happening there, we are being reminded that there are new beginnings like following immediately after, and we have a really good opportunity to build something new that is going to be a new foundation, that is going to be like we have an opportunity to rebuild, okay, with the Page of Pentacles there. And you know, it's really sort of like the sky is the limit. Like this guy's got this golden ball, like holding the world in the palm of his hands, you know what I mean? Sort of like it's opening whatever's happening with it that might be shaking these foundations, or things that we felt like we've had to fight against or whatever, that are opening up into this new beginning. Like it is actually restoring our ability to create properly and to grow something that is going to be in greater alignment and that can lead to some type of true fulfillment. Okay, on the back of the deck we have the Hermit card, and then we also actually have the Seven of Cups and the Queen of Swords. This is if you're needing to make a choice or a decision about something, this is saying, okay, do not let yourself, or do not let your mind be like influenced by others. This is saying that like whatever choice or decision we may be struggling right now, like things are not as they appear, okay? Like the Queen of Swords and the Seven of Cups, like there's a distortion in the informational field, and we do not want to be like first of all, allowing our clouded vision to be what is like making our decisions right now. Like maybe like don't make a choice, you know, the Hermit, maybe like stay to yourself and just be a bit more internalized as this energy plays out. But I also feel like this is saying, you know, again, like we don't necessarily want to be looking externally for the answer right now. With the Hermit being here, it really is like trusting our intuition, like, you know, staying to ourselves, like seeking to align with like our deeper knowing and our higher selves. So that's what we have, you guys. That, you know, maybe that is some beneficial or useful information to some of you guys out there. We're gonna get one more piece of advice now. Synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know? What would it, oh, okay, well, so we've got two cards that landed face up on the ground. A few of them spilled out, but we've got two that are face up. So these are the ones that we're reading. And I was literally just go within for peace, okay, is one of them. And obstructions removed is the other. So, you know, both very positive cards in the context of the way that this energy could be coming together. Rest in me, I have gone ahead and removed every stone. God has gone before you and removed every obstacle. Any obstacle you now perceive is a product of your own imagination, and the imagination creating these false fears that are keeping us in this negative mental frame today. Again, that's what we're talking about here. Let go and let God lead you. There is no wrong action. There is only right action. Follow the leads which come to you. And we have go within for peace. Pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. Hebrews 12:14. When discord or disharmony is raging around you, go within yourself and be thankful for the grace of God within you. This hermit energy on the back of the deck, okay? Say, thank you for restoring peace to my life. Smile, bless all, and continue to your goal. So, you guys, we're gonna make it through this. Everything is on track, and we might just have a bit of a bumpy road that we need to navigate right now. And our guidance and advice again is to go within for peace and to understand that we are in the process of obstructions actually being removed. Let go and let God lead you. Any obstacle you now perceive as a product of your imagination. And like I said, there is a lot of this imagination energy, for better or worse, that is going on out there this weekend. So, or not this weekend, this week. So we'll talk about the weekend next time. So that's what I have to say, you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for your presence here and your contributions to my channel. I really value what you guys have to say. And if you are, as always, having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of those. You can find a link to that in my description box below, and come back with me on Friday, you guys. We're going to have a weekend video out, and we're going to talk all about the astrology of the weekend and where we're at as we close out this week that has been defined by the eclipse and everything we've talked about in the video today. So I will be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, everybody. And until then, have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.